We're on. Good evening, everybody. Evening. Anybody on? Have you got any viewers? No? Hopefully they will come. We're excited about tonight. Yeah, it's exciting. The coverage good. Yeah?
I was more excited about last night.
Yeah, me too. Finally.
Yeah.
Any viewers? One. Good evening to that one person. Two. Hello, welcome to Keep Back Recovery. I'm going to give you a few seconds. Well, I'm going to give it about a minute before we start. So I say welcome. If you could share this, what we're doing, it'd help us reach other communities that can't get to our meetings. Recovery communities, I'm talking about, or people who need to know about recovery, who need to listen to about addiction, how it harms people, how it rips families apart. This is what we're doing at Keep Back Recovery. So we're putting a message out there, we're carrying the message of recovery, and we want to get it worldwide. We have, I'll repeat myself, over 22,560 odd followers, Keep Back Recovery. We're aiming to try and get up to 23,000. And we can only do it with your help and the people in our meeting, sharing our page, liking it, inviting other people who you think would get something out of Keep Back Recovery. How many viewers, Sally, please?
18.
18, thank you. I'll be really honest, we've been doing this for a week now. It's our second week. Up to now, our most amount of viewers at one time is 42. And it's not, you know what I mean, 42, but to us it's a lot of people at 42. So if we could get 100 people listening to myself and our service users and our volunteers talking about their recovery journey. Tonight we're going to be talking about addiction. We're just going to be very scraping the surface of a disease. Addiction is a disease. I'm no big expert on it. I'm a Lero, so I've got a lived experience recovery. So Keep Back is a lived experience recovery organisation. That's what we are at Keep Back Recovery. Yeah? So we're a registered charity based in Sheffield that support people in and around Sheffield with substance misuse problems, addiction problems, the mental health diagnosis that comes with that, and their affected family members. So to the newcomers, we've got two newcomers tonight, so we'll say welcome to Keep Back Recovery.
Thank you.
It's great, and we want to work closely with your organisation where you stay in. Yeah, we're not saying too much because we're on camera. So we're going to do an hour of recovery education. Straight from this, we're going to go straight into some education stuff around nutrition, eating properly, having a healthy relationship with food and exercise. We're going to do an hour of that. You'll have little breaks in between. And then we're going to go into some share time, so you'll have about 45 minutes in a safe place to do so, sharing what's going on for us. So we're talking about addiction, recovery, where we're at, mental health stuff, whatever's happening in our lives. And what we're doing is inviting to the people who can't make it to Keep Back meetings through whatever mental health, through they might be hospitalised, they might be not feeling well, they might be caring for an affected family member, they could be, you know, or somebody in active addiction. We're making it possible for them to connect into our meetings and get some connection, and that's what it's about, Keep Back Recovery. We are a fellowship, we are a community based on connection. We connect back into the community, leaving the isolation of active addiction behind. So I'm just going to say a little bit about Keep Back. How many viewers, Sally?
16.
16. Thank you for the 16 people. If you can share our page and invite people to like our share, like our page, we'd be really grateful, yeah? Right, let's slow it down, yeah. So, Keep Back Recovery, I've just mentioned we're a registered charity based in Sheffield. We'll be celebrating 5 years in the making on November the 17th. So we're going to have a bit of a do and celebrate that, yeah? So, we said we're not 12-step fellowship, we're not a religious group. God is mentioned, people have faith, some people don't. We're all like that. Whatever God you follow, whatever God you don't follow, we live and let live. We work with that. I kind of say, if you really want this recovery and you really want to work it, and I do believe it's a spiritual solution, definitely. You know what I mean? It's not for everyone, but through experience, it is a spiritual solution. You know what I mean? Get involved. So right, I'm going to go around the room and do a bit of an icebreaker. For the people who want to get involved, is everybody all right? We'll just go around and you do an icebreaker. What's an icebreaker? An icebreaker is an opportunity where you connect. It's about connection. You'll have an opportunity to connect into the group. You say a little bit about yourself, like, my name is so-and-so. What are you doing here? You don't have to be very lengthy because we'll be stuck for time. You know, we've got about an hour. So if you would want to get involved, I right appreciate that. We'll show the people at home what we're about and how proud we are of recovery. So Kick Back, we celebrate recovery. We make it visible. We use social media as a tool. That's not for everybody. You know, we've got an anonymous bench to the left. Hello, people. Hello. Hey. So these don't want to get involved with the social media stuff, but we're all right with that. We respect that. So let's start with Will. Do you want to introduce yourself, please?
Yeah, hey everyone, I'm Will, long-term drug addict, and I'm here for my own health.
Cheers.
I'm
myself. Yeah, find it really good. Sue, anxiety, depression, mental health, help me loads, read it up.
I'm Scott, recovering drug addict. Just need support to keep on a good journey and just keep it good.
Welcome, Scott.
Welcome.
I'm Richard. Seeing all these kickbacks online, I just come to see what it's all about.
Nice
Welcome,
one.
Richie.
Hi, I'm Bridget. I'm recovering from post-traumatic stress and anxiety, and I'm finding it very useful being here. Thank you.
Hi, Danny, recovering addict. Been part of kickback for a while, absolutely love it. Helps me every day. I'm loving life at the minute and glad to be here. Thank you.
I am Brendan, an alcoholic.
I'm Daryl, recovering alcoholic. 5 months dry tomorrow.
Well done,
I won't be there. I won't be at my farm once you work for kickback, so thank you everybody. Cheers.
So,
Hi, Stephen, manic depressive. I've had addiction all my life. Helping me keep it in control.
good stuff. Does anybody on anonymous bench not want to show the face, obviously, but does anybody want to say anything? You just want to quickly introduce yourself, or anybody? No, well, I'll leave it at that. So my name's Mick. I'm with Kickback Recovery. Very proud of what I do. Passionate about recovery. I've been volunteering. I was volunteering for about five years with no pay, and I'm just now getting into a bit of sessional work. So I'm not on the books at Kickback. I founded it. I'm CEO, but I am getting some bits of funding, which I'm really grateful for. I have to be honest, and it's changing my life, and it's good stuff. But the payment for me is seeing other people get well. You know, I've just said, Darryl, he's 5 months, is it, Darryl?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? When I hear that's like a little check being posted to me, and that's what Kickback into the working together. So yeah, brilliant stuff. So just before we do start, we're not a 12-step fellowship. I mentioned that we're not a religious group. God is mentioned from time to time. Sometimes we will quote some stuff, so I just have to read this. It just covers us. So Mick Hartley, which is me, does not represent and is not a spokesperson for AA, NA, CA, or any other 12-step programme or programmes. Although at times he may mention information and quotes from 12-step literature, the views and opinions I expressed are those of Kickback Recovery Community, CIO. Is everybody alright with that? Yeah? Just covers it, yeah. So tonight we're going to be touching on, we're going to talk about addiction. We're going to mention a bit about a disease. Addiction is a disease. I'm no professor, I'm no expert, I'm a Lero. So just for the people out there, you know, like people come to meetings and sometimes disease is mentioned and people think, disease, what are you on about disease? So we're going to try and make it really simple. I have to make it simple, to be honest. You know what I mean? I'm no professor stuff here. So we're going to go through bits of stuff, make it really understandable. We're going to slow it down. If there is anything that you don't understand, don't be scared of asking. You know what I mean? Let's be kind with each other. Let's not try and embarrass people or trip people up and make people look stupid and that. That's what we're not all that. We're from a place of love at Kickback. We know we support each other. Yeah. 27 people watching. Thank you. If you could please share what we're doing. Please share Kickback Recovery. We're a charity in Sheffield. We want to touch people worldwide just to share to people who can't get to meetings or people sat at home on the fence thinking, I'm an addict, I'm not an addict. You know, football's happening. People are picking drugs up all the time. Drinking, alcohol is a drug. You know, people getting excited. People in long-term recovery could be relapsing or lapsing. You know, there's lots of come on England and stuff like that. And some people can get themselves in trouble. Well, a lot of people can get themselves in trouble at this time. You know, what in life, what's happening, you know what I mean? We're all getting excited, we get powerless, you know, come on, try this, try that. And my heart goes out to the people who've never ever used drugs before, but a lot of people, young people, will be experimenting, will be voluntary, thinking, making that choice, a bad choice at that. I want to try drugs, I want to try cocaine, I want to try whatever it is. You know, this feeling I've got with all football stuff going on, I want to get those, intensify, amplify those feelings by using stimulants or any other substance, alcohol. You know what I mean, yeah? So that's what we're about. Everybody right with that, yeah? Come on then. Right, so let's start. So treatable illness. Yeah, we're talking about treatable illness. So we're talking about addiction. Yeah, as being an illness. We don't even know what addiction is. Am I an addict? Am I not an addict? some people are saying I have got a problem with drugs. Well, deep down I know I've got a problem with drugs. But what actually is it? What's going on for me? Like when I was back in the active addiction, you know, when stuff were happening. There's some background noise coming from somebody. TV. Will you turn it down, please? Or you're on detention, Brendan. Not you again. You know what I mean? And I'm not picking on you.
I knew before, look.
Yeah. So right. So treatable illness. Yeah. I'm poorly. There's something going on. I'm drinking all the time. I'm hiding bottles. I'm doing whatever I'm doing. I'm sniffing when I'm lying to people. You know what I mean? What's going on? I'm not well because the same person won't be acting like that. You know what I mean? We might kid ourselves. People will get over it, we'll get through it, but we keep on doing it and doing it and doing it. There's something wrong, isn't there? Yeah? So treatable illness, it's a treatable illness, yeah? It can be treated. Whether it can be cured, I don't think it can, but it can be treated, yeah? There we go. Can we move on please, Sally? Right, here we go. So we're making this really, really simple. I'm opening myself up to a lot of criticism, you know what I mean? I'm not a professor, you know, I'm not a university lecturer. I'm a person who's got experience of using drugs for over 3 decades. A person who's been in recovery for over 7 years. My experience, I'm sharing that, you know, my knowledge in that. So we make it really simple. So addiction is a disease that involves more than the use of drugs. Yeah? So let's call it a disease. Let's stick with that. Yeah, people might want to argue, but I think it's a disease. Right. I saw it all over medical, you know, big companies and you know what I mean, associations in America and England. It's proven that it is a disease. Yeah, and we'll touch a bit more on that in a minute. So addiction is a disease that involves more than the use of drugs. So we were using drugs when we were sniffing, we were drinking, yeah? But there's a lot more to it than that, and it's like an iceberg. We see the bit of the iceberg, but the tip of the iceberg underneath was a lot deeper, a lot longer than the bit we see, yeah? Right, so we're just doing, we're acting out in whatever, how we're sniffing or doing this. But I'm doing lots of other stuff, you know, obsessive behaviour, we're obsessing on the people, places, things, relationships. When I got to know what addiction was, and I took myself into a couple of rehabs, and I started working on myself, and I got going into these lectures, and at first it was a bit frightening. I'm going to go into a lecture and I learn about addiction and how it's a disease of the brain, and how, you know, all the stuff that I was learning, you know, quite challenging at first. But when I surrendered and became open-mindedness, I'm like a sponge. For a long time, it was all about me. I made everything about me. I didn't want to know anything except, you know, doing that stuff that made me feel good, drinking, meeting a bird, dancing, going out buying a new car, or whatever. I said dancing there. I might have done it off me up, you know, with the right person.
Not very well.
With the right person, I tried, didn't I? But some of you were there when we used to dance.
No, that's exactly what I'm saying.
Yeah. So there was a lot more to whatever. The drugging, the drinking were a symptom of my illness, and the illness was addiction, yeah? So addiction shows its way, self, in lots of different ways, lots of symptoms, yeah? Like a cold does, we can have a runny nose, a cough, we can have a fever, there's lots of different symptoms for different people in there. That's how it shows itself. So I'm going all right with that, yeah? I'm still there, yeah? Okay, can we move on please? Right, we're going to define the definition. We're going to define disease. The definition of disease. A disease or medical condition is an unhealthy state where something bad happens to the body or mind. Diseases can cause pain, parts of the body to stop working the right way, or death. Yeah, that's what we all know about diabetes, cancer, heart disease. They're diseases, yeah? People look at addiction, and I remember when one of my old girlfriends said to me, snap out of it, get yourself together, you know what I mean? It's not like you've got cancer, or not like you've got bleeding diagnosed, and I'm thinking, that's right, I get that, I'm such a bad person, I'm horrible, I'm using drugs, I'm sniffing coke, and I'm missing out on family time, and, you know, I'm just this horrible person. So I didn't know any better, I didn't know, I wasn't educated in addiction or what addiction was. I just thought myself as a really bad person. I felt guilt, shame, embarrassed. You know, I isolated all the time. You know, it was not till I come to places like this, or I went into a rehab, that I started to learn about disease, addiction, yeah? And I got educated, and I got an understanding of what's going on. I'm never a bad person. Some people might want to say, you were. Yeah, you know, we've all had those moments. doing whatever, but there's always circumstances, not making excuses. And you know, there's always something we could be acting towards what somebody's done to us, you know what I mean? You know, something's happened to us or somebody behaving in such a way, so we react to it. It's a reaction of what somebody's an action towards us, and we act out, and that person thinks, oh, he's bad, we're not. When we were poorly people, we're never bad, we were sick people. Yeah? And that's what we have to remember. Is everybody right with that?
Yeah.
Yeah? Yeah, people what I'm saying, yeah? You get what I'm saying, don't you?
Yeah.
You know, we weren't bad people. For the people at home, we weren't bad people. If you've got a loved one at home, and she's behaving, whatever she's doing, you know, they're not bad people. They still love you. You know, they're just lost. We've got an illness. We're poorly people. We've just got to do what we're doing to put it out there to get these people to come to us and other organisations and get well and recovery as possible. Look at us guys, yeah, we're doing it, yeah? We are putting the effort in, putting the action in, we're making ourselves vulnerable, we're showing visible recovery, we're celebrating it, and in that, what we're trying to do is get people involved with us, yeah? Alright, yeah, okay. So, this is some stuff we got, we borrowed this off the internet, so this is all official stuff, yeah? So it's like what Danny's just been talking about. The Society of Addiction and Medicine gives the following short definition of addiction. Yeah. So it's some big words here, right? We'll take it slow, yeah? So take this in, this is all, yeah? Addiction is a primary chronic disease of brain reward, yeah? Rewarding the brain. Motivation. We'll get some drugs, we'll get busy now, yeah? Get some whiz in there, yeah? Memory and related circuitry. Yeah. Dysfunction in these circuits leads to characteristics, biological, psychological, social and spiritual manifestations. This is reflected in an individual pathologically pursuing reward and or relief by substance use and other behaviour. Yeah, do you get that? I know there's some big words in there, isn't there? Yeah? Is everybody alright with that?
So
yeah,
you
Rebecca?
mean by like pathologically, you mean like repetitively doing it again and again, like relapsing or relapsing again?
Pathologically is like not so nice behaviour, obsessive, it's like obsession, pathologically, we're obsessed, same stuff about certain stuff, yeah? We get that, yeah? And we're acting in not a nice way, yeah? Anything else? And we're also pursuing reward and relief, yeah? Well, we're going to look at this stuff a bit more in depth. Not right deep, we just scratch the surface. We're all going to look at it. So,
do you think it's because it is a mental illness, and in our own head, we feel that down about ourselves. We think we have to reward ourselves with something.
yeah. Well, it is a brain disease.
Yeah. It's of course.
Yeah.
It is a brain
So it
disease.
starts off, the abuse of drugs changes the kind of structure and function of the brain. Yeah? So initially, we weren't born addicts. We didn't come out of mommy's womb and say, hello mummy, I'm an addict, can I have this and all that. So what we do, the initial time we first used drugs was a choice. We made a choice. Yeah? But by putting that substance in his brain, changed the way the brain, the structure and how it worked, the way of thinking, that stopped messing around with, you know, like when we did nice things, we got rewarded by certain chemicals that made us feel nice, dopamine, yeah? And we felt good, didn't we? When we met a new girlfriend, a new boyfriend, we got that little chemical release, or we ate a bar of chocolate and we felt nice, we did some exercise, yeah? So we got all these nice feelings. When we started using alcohol, drugs, and other substances, could be food, lots of sugar, no big intakes of sugar and stuff, we started messing around with chemical imbalance type of thing. I'm not an expert, I'm just saying, you know what I mean? But the first time we used were voluntary for most people. Nobody shoved a bottle in his hand, did they? Nobody shoved a needle in his arm to start with. Caroline?
Nick, I read a study from a Swiss scientist, and they believe that addicts are born with a certain chromosome.
An addictive behaviour.
Yeah.
And it's called THIQ.
Yeah.
Right.
And they did a study and said that if an addict, they believe that we're born addicts, and
Right.
but if the addict finds a substance or a behaviour, then that THIQ gets into them, and then once you've activated that, then you're an addict.
Yeah.
But if you don't if you don't allow that addictive behaviour to ever come into your system because of your environment, say, but if we pick up a drink, like you said, then that activates this THIQ, and they did this study on, unfortunately, lots of dead bodies, and they examined all the brain, and they found this study from non-addicts and addicts.
Right.
And it's a really big movement now in Europe, and they're talking about this THIQ and how they believe that you are born with this addiction. It might be an addiction to trainers, shopping, alcohol, drugs, whatever.
Addiction is
and
addiction,
they honestly believe this. It was a couple that did it in a clinic in Switzerland.
Thank you for that. Could research that, have a little look at that. The most common roots of addiction, like I say, I'm no expert, I'm just, what I can be aware is chronic stress, trauma, history of trauma, childhood stuff, we've all that maybe. I think a lot of people in this room, and it put your hands up who've had an history of childhood trauma or any trauma in the past. And so there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 people. You know what I mean? Yeah. Mental health's a big one. You know, mental health, and family history of addiction. You know, hereditary, could be passed down. You know, it runs in families, doesn't it? Alcoholism, addiction. Yeah. But that one, Caroline, I ain't heard of that one. But I'm open-minded, and I like it.
They were also saying that it is hereditary.
Right, yeah, that's what we kind of
and it's a gene that's passing on through generations. It's really interesting.
The jury's still out. The jury's still out on this one. They've not fully. They're researching into it now, and there's lots of theories that there is a genetic link, an addictive gene basically. Which obviously doesn't mean you're born an addict. It means you're born susceptible to addiction. So if you go through life and you never encounter a drug or anything to trigger that addiction, you'll be fine. But it's those people who they can binge drink or binge drug and just leave it for 2 months.
That's it.
That's the difference between them, the ones without that gene and the ones with.
That's what makes us. Some people can drink. Some people have heard people. It's like a light. It's a flick being switched on, isn't it? You know, for some people, for me, you know, I'm alright, but not so alright. But certain substances, I'll take it, leave it. The class A, the cocaine stuff, that flicked a switch. Whoa, what's happening here? And I couldn't flick that switch off. The lived experience, I couldn't flick it off. It don't matter. You know what I mean? It's kind of, I don't know what it's on now, it's like tapes. Tapes that can't be flipped back on, you know, at the moment. So right, anybody else on that stuff? You do have to keep moving. I just want to say this is, like I said, this is quite a big thing, this addiction. We talk about disease of addiction. There's experts out there, there's people who've got lots of more knowledge than me and other people. But we are what we are, we're a challenge say, and we've got newcomers, so we're just scratching the surface. Because we've got loads of these stuff, we've got months at these PowerPoint stuff that we do. You know, we get through, some are taught better than others, you know, so we're just doing the best we can, yeah? Is that right? Any viewers, Sally?
We went up to 32 at one point, 26 at the moment.
26, so keep on watching guys, if you can share this page, can help us support us, what we do, can in the message of recovery, putting it out there, and we just want to share a little bit to the people at home about what we do at Kickback, yeah? So, Danny?
I just want to see on the pathological stuff, that what it boils down to basically is we have a part of our brain near our neurocortex which is called the limbic system, and it says on the previous slide it says pursuing relief or a reward.
Yeah. And
what happens is you are perfectly spot on what you said. Is we grow. It's like almost like a blank record. And it's cutting grooves, your life cuts grooves into this record, and what happens is the limbic system remembers that.
Yeah.
We have situations, trauma example, other stuff, where it's the fight or flight system, where something happens and we reach out and we grab stuff, and our brain cuts that groove in, and what happens is the pathological side of it is when that happens again, our brain's got a groove there.
Yeah.
This happens. This is what we do, and it grows through our life. Basically, this is why they use like sort of they use CBT for years, and it's breaking that connective behaviour. Do you know where what we're basically doing is cutting another groove in the head. This is why we're in recovery, we're learning new pathways.
Yep.
You know what I mean? So what you're saying is spot on. Do you know what I mean? I just wanted to reinforce
Thank you,
that.
Well, we're trying our best, aren't we, as a group? No, we're not big experts, but we are trying our best to stay well and get well, aren't we, and helping other people, yeah. So absolutely. So right, moving on then. Here we go, so we come to a meeting, we've got the agree with Paulie, yeah? We realise with Paulie, we need help, we've reached out with help, we've ever gone to the NHS Strict Services in Sheffield, we've had some one-to-one, we've got told about AA and all the anonymous fellowships. Some of you might, what you have done, you've come to Kickback, haven't you? Yeah, so at our first Kickback recovery meeting, we may have been surprised at the way our members shared about how the disease of addiction had affected their lives. Yeah, because newcomers come to these meetings, whether, I don't know, have you any knowledge of addiction and being a disease and that? You're hearing disease at first time, it can be quite a scary process. Thinking, what disease? I ain't got no disease. You know what I mean? I ain't got cancer, I ain't got diabetes, I ain't got heart disease, you know what I mean? I ain't got a disease, am I going to die? You've got a disease of the brain, it's not working properly, yeah? A disease, it's not working how it should do, yeah? We thought to ourselves, disease, I've just got a drug problem. What in the world are they talking about? What, just, anybody want to touch on that? What are they talking about? Disease. Just got a drug problem.
For a long time, I didn't think it was a disease. I thought it was just a choice. Then I watched a video, this is just recent actually, this year when I was in rehab. There's a doctor in America basically explained the sort of science behind it, the biochemistry behind it. It's like a disease, it tricks your body into thinking it needs something else other than what it needs to survive.
Yeah.
And drugs do the same, like you've got your primary drive, sort of food, water and reproduction. And drugs will trick your brain into thinking you don't need any of them to survive, all you need is me. And it's the same as like cancer tricking your body into attacking itself.
Yeah.
Because it's, like I say, it is literally a disease.
Yeah.
I think addiction is definitely a disease. But there's like, with anything, like I said, you've got disease, you've got cancer or you've got diabetes, you can take medication for it. So you can take medication for addiction.
Yeah.
Well, this is the medication for addiction.
Of course, this is the medicine.
No, this is the end run when you don't want it anymore.
I think as well as the stigma behind this is that because it's a mental health and you can't see it, when people you can break your legs and they say, oh, you're ill.
Sorry.
You can have cancer and people say, oh, you're ill. But because it's a mental health illness, people don't recognise it as being an illness or a disease. They just think it's something we do to ourselves.
Or is it another way of looking at it, another way of dealing with it, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because you don't have to listen to all doctors and stuff like that. You can come at it in a different angle and try and certainly now everyone's talking about mental illness and that.
Yeah.
I think the cover up myself, like, I think it should be out there a lot more. That all these famous people have done so much good for this world with manic depressives. And kids should know that. When they're growing up, they don't know that.
But we've got to
often people in prisons are mentally ill. That's not right.
No.
You know what I mean?
We've got to start moving on, Steve. Thank you, So there is something called like the brain hijack theory. So the brain disease caused by a dysfunction of brain systems involved, well, like you said, Danny, in the reward and pleasure seeking stuff. So we're started using drugs, started using drinks, we're getting these chemicals released. The drugs are telling the brain in code to release these chemicals into its bloodstream. You're feeling nice. I want to feel more nice, you know. After a bit, the brain doesn't start working properly, does it? It can't, which I don't know how it works, but it doesn't start releasing them chemicals when it should do. So we're feeling crap, we're feeling depressed, we're feeling down. So what do? We want to change the way we feel, so let's get some drugs, let's get some alcohol, let's go and get some sex. Let's go and do whatever. Sally, you've got a question?
Lorraine, who's watching from home, she said that as far as she's concerned, people can read it from a book all day long, but unless they've experienced it, they don't really understand, and that's her opinion. And Kathleen just said, people at the back, if you could speak up a little bit, she can't hear you in Canada. That would be great.
That's what Kathleen! Hey, good stuff. So we're all right with that, yeah? Yes. So like I said, different every week. In fact, tomorrow we're doing another teaching. 2 o'clock tomorrow. 2 o'clock tomorrow if you're tuning tomorrow. I don't know what topic we're talking about, but we're talking for an hour on whatever we're talking about tomorrow. Next slide, please. Okay. After some time in Kickback, after some time in Kickback Recovery's programme of recovery, we begin to see that our addiction ran deeper than our obsessive, compulsive drug use. Yeah? Run a lot deeper. Just touched on that earlier, didn't we? You know, that iceberg. You know, the drink, the drugs was just a sex, whatever it were, just a symptom of the illness. Yeah? We saw that we suffered from a chronic illness that affected many areas of our lives. We didn't know where we caught this disease, but in examining ourselves, we realised that it had been present in us for many years. Yeah, I just touched on when I went to rehab. And other stuff before, my obsessions, I wanted to be successful, I wanted this, I wanted that, and I wanted it now. I did whatever to get it, you know. I thought I was ambitious. I thought I really ambition. You know, that's what I thought for me. When I learned about addiction, when I look back, it was all addiction. That's all it was. It was chasing feelings. It was trying to fill this void with something, whether a new girlfriend, a car, Class A drugs, whatever, food, exercise, clothes, whatever. That's what we're doing. Yeah. Anybody want to just touch on that? Anybody?
I think for me, it's sort of, for a long time you think it's just you. And I think by coming to Kickback and to places, you realise that it's not. And that's when you get to basically see it deeper, don't you, and understand deeper.
Yeah. Do you want to come and say hello to everybody on side? Because everybody is come. Yeah. Everybody hears your voice, and I know the seasons are there. Come on! While you're still in your 30s. Woohoo! Yeah. Very shy. Yeah.
Do you have a ringboard? Kickback on it.
You weren't expecting that, were you?
No.
You didn't do your hair, did you?
No.
Where's your lipstick?
I would just want to say on this, right, that many of us, right, thought we just had a problem with drugs. You know what I mean? Until we got into recovery and like started taking the lid off it and realised that the drugs, right, were just an external symptom. Were just the drugs. It was a lot deeper, and as you've touched on it, you know what I mean, that it affected our lives in so many ways. Our behavioural patterns, our compulsion, the way we dealt with situations, and the drugs were basically just like an external. It was the root of the addiction that we started seeing. That was like sort of the obsessive compulsive behaviour. Do you know what I mean? The fixating on stuff and just it drove our lives in so many ways. I can look back to my childhood and see that, do you know, like my addiction started way before I picked any drugs up. Do you know, like growing up, the way I dealt with situations, the way where I was different to everybody else around us. You know what I mean? I always felt different, and it was. I can see now that it was the addiction. It was which started at a very early age.
Yeah, brilliant.
Steve, it's like drug addiction. Well, drug addict, isn't there? And then there's addiction. I think there's quite a difference between them. They're not both the same.
Well, addiction is addiction, isn't it? It's what substance you're addicted to. So addiction is one illness. It's one disease there is. There's a disease called addiction. It's one. Addiction is addiction.
If you've got one thing you're addicted to, alcohol or drugs, or one thing, gambling, whatever, then that's just become that, and it's become that one thing. You've got gone too far with it.
That's a symptom.
Addiction's everything.
Addiction is addiction, but it has different symptoms for different. Yours could have been gambling, could have been sex. For me, it could have been cocaine.
I had them all, and I enjoyed them all. And they nearly killed me with it, didn't. And I understand it a lot better now.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? But I had that from a very, very young age. And you know what I mean? And the mental illness. But addiction and then being an addict, I don't see someone suffering like, don't say, oh, I've had addiction all my life, but then I ended up choosing heroin, or I ended up choosing crack, or I ended up choosing alcohol.
It's drug of choice, isn't it?
Yeah, well, I think it's just having a shit life and all. Like,
there's talks about that, and the trauma.
Yeah.
Stress.
Yeah.
You know, trauma.
Escapism, isn't it?
Yeah.
Mental health.
But recovery, I'm sorry, there has got to be a difference there.
You need to like just rein it and wind it in a little bit now, yeah? So, is everybody alright what we're doing?
Yeah.
Anybody getting angry in any way or upset about what we're talking about? Any triggers to go and use drugs? Rebecca?
No, I don't feel triggered to use, but do you know what this is reminding me of? Do you know, like, it's been present in us for years. The first time I ever drank, I've always had an abnormal relationship with drink. Every time I drink, it goes wrong. I drink abnormally. The first time I ever drank abnormally was after I'd just been abused in a certain way when I was little. And I remember it was the first time I'd ever drank, and I drank sherry out of my mum's cupboard, and I drank it to obliteration, which is what I do now. I drink to black out. I don't drink to have a few social drinks, I drink to black out.
Yeah.
So I'd been abused, I drank like that on it, and that formed the pattern of my drinking behaviour.
Right, thank you.
That's what it's made me think of.
Yeah.
Really.
So we're all alright what we're doing, yeah? So nobody's getting upset,
Yeah.
nobody's triggered. Steve, are you alright?
Yeah, I'm alright, but I don't think, I said that poor lady had trauma, so she went to alcohol. But if she's not gone to alcohol, she might have self-harmed or she might
Well, it is
have done herself, do you know what I mean?
It
It's
is
like
a-
something happened and boozing maybe can't take all the blame for it, you know what I mean?
But I do believe when we're acting out as addictions were symptoms for a lot of us, we were a form of self-harming.
Yeah.
For me, definitely. I mean, we're not looking after ourselves, are we? When we do what we're doing. Whatever we're doing, we can't stop doing it. And it's putting families apart, it's putting physical health.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Yeah. Right, should we move on? Here we go then. Have we moved on there? Yeah. I thought the camera were pointing at me, I thought it was pointing around like. Right, so we're a bit lost. It's a funny old night tonight, isn't it? We can't be on top form every
Come on.
Right, come on. Keep it moving. Here we go. We attend our first meeting with all the symptoms present. Spiritual void. Yeah? That void. Yeah. The emotional agony. Yeah? Over trauma, upset, hurt. You know what I mean? All world's against me. You know, why me? Why did so-and-so never loved me? And we've got lots of personal different. We've got our own little journeys, haven't we? And histories. So the powerlessness. I'm powerless. I can't stop using drugs. I can't stop doing whatever I'm doing or watching what I'm watching. You know, I just can't. I'm powerless. Yeah. The unmanageability through using drugs and drink or whatever addiction we got involved with. You know, it's our lives become unmanageable, become a mess. We couldn't make work. We couldn't have relationships. We couldn't pay his bills. We couldn't open his mail. For me, at one point, I couldn't open my mail anymore. You know, I thought of opening my mail, like, oh. You know, just as the disease of addiction affects every area of our lives, so does our recovery programme, if we work it right. So now we're getting to solution stuff. All this doom and gloom, you know, what we've just been talking about, it's real, we've all experienced it now. But now we're coming to recovery. Yeah? We've learned a little bit what addiction, how the symptoms, yeah, that are different for lots of different people. So I will say again, the illness is addiction. The symptoms show differently in different people. For me, it were stimulants, it were porn, touched on a bit of sex, whatever. It were all about shoving chemicals in me to enhance, amplify certain feelings. The core of the addiction, what it were, around sex stuff. For other people, it could have been food. We've got people with food. It could be wine. It could be people. It could be chaos. You know, it could be toxic relationships, which we all get attracted to at times. We just go from one toxic relationship to another. Wherever there's trouble and all that, for some people they need to be in the middle of it all around addiction stuff. Yeah. Anybody want to touch on that before? Yeah. Right. Sorry. Move on, please. So we want to work as. Here we go. We're talking about illness now. Treating our illness involves much more than pure abstinence. Yeah, so we put the drink down, we put the drugs down, we put whatever down. That's now cured. It doesn't work like that, does it? No. It doesn't work like that. We've all tried that, haven't we? I go to 1 or 2 meetings, I learn, I go in a rehab. You know, I'll have 6 months in there. I'll come out, I'm cured now. I've done all what I need to. It don't work like that. It does not work like that. There's more to a quality recovery than just putting the drink and the drugs down. We've got a full hour kind of teaching on that we'll do it next few weeks. Really good stuff, yeah? We use the recovery programme on offer, whether it's kickback, whether it's an anonymous fellowship, whatever it is, yeah? And though it doesn't cure, because it's never going to cure it, it's treatable, our illness, it does begin to heal us, yeah? We start getting well, don't we? Who's feeling well, or better than he was? Down here, yeah? Hands are up, yeah? And as we recover, we experience the gift of life. Hello?
Sorry.
Well, I didn't mention phones. Remember, this is live, this is it, you know what I mean? There's no, hello everyone, welcome to the...
Sorry.
Right. So, as we cover, we experience the gift of life. And that's powerful stuff in that, yeah? I don't know if we've got another screen or have we not.
Living in the solution.
Right, here we go now, so we're living in the solution. Yeah, this is what it's all about. Here at Kickback Recovery tonight, it's been that one a bit different this meeting, but we are living in the solution. We're getting to meetings, we're doing what's suggested, we've got our gym kits on, yeah, we're going to do some physical exercise. Yeah, well some of them are. For those who are on, you need to be bringing your gym kit next week against the king because it's good stuff. We're going to be learning about nutrition, yeah, healthy eating, a healthy relationship with food and exercise. Because us as recovering addicts, we're always obsessing on something, yeah? We put everything down, we pick exercise up. But we don't just exercise 4 or 5 times a week. For some it's twice a day, for some it's more, for some it's diet. We're obsessed with diets and looking in the mirror and taking his tops off and that, don't you? We become self-intake. We have to be careful, don't we? So living in a solution. We're ready for it, yeah?
That's it.
Is that it, yeah?
Yes, it's for us to generate.
You want to talk about living in a solution then? When are we living in a solution, Daddy?
Yeah, I just want to say it right, that for a lot of years, right, I was the problem man, you know, and like, it almost brings me to tears sometimes now, to know that I'm part of the solution, you know, when I hear them words, living in the solution, you know, it's like the gift recovery has given me over even just the last year, it's been unbelievable. You know what I mean? It's given us my life back. It's given us my health back. It's severely affected my mental health. I still, you know what I mean? I'm a big advocate on the fact that I believe that like physical exercise and recovery go hand in hand. You know, it's the best antidepressant that is. You know, so living in the solution now. You know what I mean? I'm like devoting myself to educating others about the fact that getting yourself moving, it starts repairing motor neuron recruitment a lot. Do you know what I mean? It's unbelievable. So, you know, living in the solution for me is just a massive gift. Do you know, to be part of the solution now instead of being part of the problem is just huge. It's huge.
Well done, mate. Anybody else about living in the solution?
I mean, I look at you guys. I mean, I'm in early. I'll call it like I say in early weeks. And then I look at Daryl, then I look at you, mate, and that's how far I want to be. But I know I have to take it day at a time. And I know I've messed up in things, but that's like I say, is I've got to rebuild my life and good by me. And sometimes I might be like a problem in that what I wear. But like, from day to day you go on, and then you come, like me, as I set my goals on a weekly basis. So from Monday, I don't look at Monday, I look at Thursday, Friday, and Saturday and Sunday, see what Kickback does. And then I look at Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and sort my plan out from there. For you guys.
Go on then, Brendan. Anybody else about living in the solution? What's your...
I think for me it's the quote at the beginning about there's so much more to recovery than there is to just putting down the drink or the drugs, and for me it's that word of enrichment. You know, you can be in recovery but you're not actually living life still, you've just stopped doing what you were doing. But I think for me it's about putting everything else in that you can, so you've got that connection, you've got the, you know, the physical, you've got the food side of things, you know what you put in, and just making your life the best it can be, and just enriching it and getting involved. And you know, those days when you do want to stay at home, just think, no, you know, I need to get out there and I need to do, and that's what I've taken from it.
Some of us can experience or have experienced, and some people I've met along the way, where they put the drink down, put the drugs down, and that's all they do. What kind of, in the nicest possible way, what quality of recovery is that? You know, they don't go to meetings, you've still got the head, well, it's dry drunk syndrome, isn't it? You've still got the head of somebody still active in addiction or drinking, or what they're doing is not using drugs, but their head's still there, like they were using. You know, they're not working a recovery programme, they're not coming to meetings, they're not volunteering, they're not being of service, they're not helping other people. We talked about goodwill last week. Are they practicing goodwill in their lives? You know, being nice, doing the next right thing. Gratitude is massive. Are they practicing gratitude? You know, probably not. And we're without being disrespectful, in that type of thing that's happening, you can become bitter and not so nice and resentful. And in the red, they do want to use, because what have they got in? We come to recovery, we're living the solution. We start doing different things. Yeah. Doing a bit of education, now doing a teacher's degree. Doing, getting back involved with exercise, lost a couple of stone. Still took drugs, but listen, I'm feeling great. I am feeling great, and that's about drugs, that's just like losing a couple of stone, and you know what I mean? And I'm feeling good because I'm living in the solution. I've just been through a few days of depression last week. I shared about it earlier, you know, it was dark, it was not nice. I didn't pick up on it. I didn't use drugs. You know, I usually, while I'm in active addiction, that's why a lot of times when I did use drugs, self-medicating with stuff. Because what I was feeling weren't nice, or the depression, or when I said, right, I'm going to try and stop using drugs. So the stretch or abstinence or whatever, I was depressed. So I relapsed on it because I didn't like how I was feeling. So I picked up again, self-medicating. Yeah, we've all done it. Yeah. You know, today I have to live in the solution, be mindful of that. You know, for the people out there, you do need to get to meetings, you do need to work that recovery program. You know, spirituality, you know, connecting to an higher power, you know, whatever that higher power for you is, you know. So I'm just going to briefly touch on that. So what stops us getting in recovery? What like stops us from overcoming addiction? You know, like these little things, you know, for people, these things out there, it could be like fear of failure, you know, like what's point? There's people out there now watching this, what's point? You know, I want to get into recovery, but I'm full of fear. Why? You know, I'm going to fail, I'm going to fall short, I'm going to make a fool of myself, I'm going to say I've been to recovery meetings. John's welcome to come in if you want, I'm going to go to recovery meetings. Welcome, John. They're going to laugh at me. I'm not going to be good enough. I'm not going to be able to stop using drugs. The fear of that stops people, keeps people unwell, keeps people sick. Yeah?
It's that first step.
Yeah?
That's what it is with people.
But for me, I become...
Sorry, let Brendan finish.
Finished. It's the first step, that's what people are scared of. It's that hard saying, listen, I've got an addiction, putting your hands up, and then making that step to seeing your doctor, seeing someone who come into here and talking to people like here, with one big family bit. I don't know you lot from Adam when I first met you. So it's that opening up as well.
Yeah. But for some people, we'll come back to you in a little minute, for some people, that is a big obstacle.
Yeah, it is.
That is even getting in touch with your GP. I don't want to go and see my GP. I'll start talking to my doctor about my alcoholism, my drug use. I think it's going to go on my medical record. It's going to stop me getting some health insurance. It might stop me getting from a job. Whether you have some maybe medical history, I don't, you know what I mean? Big things for some people. Obstacles, yeah? Rebecca?
I think for me, keeping myself in active addiction, I become dishonest with myself and other people around me, and then I isolate because I'm ashamed.
Yeah.
You know, isolation's a big one.
Two things.
Yeah.
Two things, massive things, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, and isolation.
Darryl and then Stephen. That's right.
When I was in active addiction, I suffered a lot with, you know, like the tomorrow man. You know, like, Christmas would come in, you know, it could have been in May, or Christmas, do you know what I mean? I get Christmas on, I have a good big Christmas, or January comes, I don't know, there's a birthday, and there would always summer, I'd think, I'll stop drinking after that, holiday, I've got an holiday, what's the point stopping now, you're going to want to drink on holiday, I'll do holiday, then I'll stop, but it never ever come, ever, do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Until you hit your own personal rock bottom, and you say to yourself, enough's enough, it's either this or death, innit? You know what I mean?
Anybody else? Stephen?
I think people who are all that old, like in 40s or whatever, if they haven't like, been on whatever they're having for many, many, many years, even though it's getting to the point of killing them, it's horrible. It's the, you don't know because you've done it for that long, don't you? You don't really know what else is there. And it's a bit of a scare. It's like having like a bad best mate or something, isn't it?
Yeah. We're just going to touch on that, like also for some people, not knowing where to turn for help.
Yeah.
You know, they don't know. You just touch that, or the dependency of I've used drugs for 30 odd years.
Yeah.
You know, in that security blanket. Yeah, they might be making me physically unwell, spiritually unwell, emotionally unwell. But I'm fearful of stepping out of that because it's been a little comfort blanket.
Yeah.
You know, like, especially like opiates and that. You know, that security. What else have I got if I stop using drugs? You know, what other life?
I think humans as a species, we don't like change, do we? When you're comfortable at doing something, you know, coming out of your comfort zone, whether it be whatever you're using, you don't like it, yeah. It's scary, isn't it?
Yeah.
Scary. And especially with addiction also, I think when you stop, you do rediscover yourself. I don't know what I were, me.
Yeah.
You know, I drank for that long. People like, what do I do now? What do I like? What do I... You know, I look different, I feel different. It's the best thing I've ever done.
Yeah.
Yeah, well done, Darryl. How long you been here now, Darryl? Do you want to say a little bit about yourself?
Yeah, Darryl, recovering alcoholic. I've been coming here about 4.5 months. I've been drinking since the age of 15. Ever for the last 15, 18 years, very ever, especially towards the end, when obviously 5 months ago. Tried all sorts, went to doctors sent me here and everywhere. One of them where, alright, how much you drinking? Well, go home and drink half. So you think, well, this is letting me drink, you know what I mean? I'm a bum with this. Well, you don't just drink that, yeah, I went anyway. I was drinking that in house in front of my family, and then I was sneaking it, you know, and then I started, lost my licence, not through drink, but not through drink driving, I mean, but you could probably, if you went to Rugby, you probably would have been, no speeding, red lights, you know. I was like, it's not nice to say, but I did used to go out drinking in my van when I were on my own and no one could see me and that, so. I hit my rock bottom a few times, but the last time I went out all day, walking all day from morning till night, stopping from shop to shop, getting drink, went home paralytic, fell into my son's kitchen, broke that. And I've told you all before, I just went back into babby mode, I just wanted my mother. She come round, said she was going to send me to rehab, begged her not to, told her about kickback. Even I begged her not to let me speak to kickback, Mum, showed it her. Week later she come round, I'd still not contacted kickback. So she went, Ray, I'm phoning these, you go in here. So she made me a message, I think I messaged Stella, for the one-to-one with Mick. And honestly, best thing I've ever done.
Does anybody else want to say a little bit about themselves? We've got a few minutes left. You don't have to. Alright, well, I'm just another obstacle. Being chemically dependent, you know, on where we're physically dependent on stuff, for us to function. You know, for some of us, that's where, you know, where we needed that chemical, that substance in the morning to get us out of bed, to get us to work, when we were functioning, addicts, or what. We all get that, yeah? Anybody else, any experience around that?
Well, yes and no.
Well, yeah, you've got a story.
Well, yeah, because I was on opiates for 22 years. I know. I've got a lot of them. It was like as much as you could smoke in a day. I mean, I didn't inject, but as much as you could smoke in a day, I did. Because I had nothing else to do. So yeah, I couldn't get out of bed. Well, I could physically get out of bed, but I couldn't do anything without them. But yeah, when I say yes and no, it's because I didn't have anything to do. So I didn't need them to do anything other than just live, basically, without feeling like absolute death. So.
Where are you at now, Will? If you don't mind me asking. You don't have to answer these questions.
Where I'm at now, I'm exactly 1 week off being 4 months clean.
Well done.
Wow.
And yeah, I never ever thought would happen.
Well done.
Over 20 years of like hardcore
Yeah.
Yeah. It's mind-boggling, frankly.
Yeah. And do you think kickback recovery's helped in being where you are today? You can answer this honestly. You know, you check a week post in the morning.
Yes, it's wonderful. It's absolutely fantastic.
If we get the funding.
No, I mean it is. It's good. Kickback is good because it's not. I mean, like, you know, I don't like AA and NA and 12 steps and that. But they're not for me. I know they help a lot of people and they work for a lot of people, but they're not for me.
Okay.
Because they're much more sort of rigid about what they do, and there's a much more religious side to them, even though they claim there isn't. To me there is, and that's just not me. That makes me want to just run the other way as fast as I can. Whereas like you and the secondary I went to, nothing to do with that, completely on a separate thing, and yeah, there's still some of the same stuff, but some of what they do is gold, absolute gold. But yeah, it's like picking out, sort of coming here, you're picking out the best bits. Well, I say best bits, the best bits you can find.
Yeah.
Now you're picking out the good bits and teaching them through lived experience, you say, because I mean, I think that's a huge difference. Because somebody can go to university and learn all about addiction through like the course or whatever, and then try and tell addicts how they feel. It's like, no, bitch, you've got no idea. You can read as many case studies as you want, but I will never tell you how it feels. Whereas you've actually been through it yourself, like properly been through it. So yeah, it gives us that extra sort of well, it's not unique, it is unique, but it's that extra sort of experience, that kind of perspective. Yeah, it's really, really useful, which is why I would recommend. Out of all, because I've been to lots of these kind of things over the years, lots, and this is the one that I would recommend to people. So.
Thank you. Brilliant.
I don't know.
Yeah, I just want to touch on like kickback. We can't please everybody. You know, we do what we can. We're not 12 steps. We do use bits. I haven't got a 12-step recovery foundation that I work nearly every day. You know, but for me and for kickback to evolve, that we look for a little place where we could step out of 12-step stuff, the anonymous stuff, the anonymity, celebrate recovery, make it visible, a bit of risk taking, which I got a little buzz about, you know what I mean? Probably frowned upon by a lot of 12-step fellowships and people in them, yeah, but whatever. Create something that's helping a lot of people. People come, people cherry pick, people might go to an AA meeting or AA meeting and might do a kickback meeting, you know what I mean? They go to each meeting and take a little bit of what they need. Some people might be other organisations, you know, they might have commitments we're other, whatever. At kickback, the door's always open for anybody to pop in and leave whenever they want to leave. There's nobody saying this is how you do it and you can only do it this way, it doesn't work like that. For me, faith is a big thing in my recovery programme, like Will just talked about, I respect that. But we live and let live, don't we? Whatever works, whatever. I had to try something, because I kept falling short, I kept relapsing, so I tried something that works for me, keeps me well. And that's what keeps me well, that's my personal journey, like you well is your personal stuff, and Danny, and whoever. Yeah? And we just want to say everybody out there, I hope you've enjoyed this evening. We're not going to get, so we're going to go around and do a kind of, Sally?
Can I just remind everybody, if they've logged on a little bit later than when you said at the beginning, that everybody who is on camera today has chosen to be. They have got the choice. We have got an anonymous section of the room where people can choose to sit if they wish. But the people that are on camera are doing so happily, and they want to join Kickback with Breaking Stigma.
Right, people?
Just give me a wave, guys.
We're all happy with being on camera. And most of them have signed forms and stuff like that. So we are a registered charity, we are a professional organisation. It is hot in here, it's been a different one tonight, you know what I mean? I don't know, I feel after tonight. You know, I think we've done alright, I think we have, haven't we? Listen, sometimes being like people like us, we've got a lot of self-doubt going on. You know, we're his own worst critics, we're always at war with self. You know, we're feeling, are we good enough or we not? Have I said the right thing? I made the right fool of myself. Even if we're not using drink or drugs, you know what I mean? Recovery is a process, you know what I mean? It's a journey. I'm never going to get to that destination where look at me, it's all happening. You know, singing, dancing, I'm cured and all that stuff. I'm working a programme daily, I'm trying my best to help other people and get myself well in that time as well. I'm really grateful for Kickback, and I couldn't do it without these guys. So if you want to, we're just going to go around, be honest again, something you might not have enjoyed tonight, whatever. So say a little bit about what you got from tonight. Yeah, I'm sure everybody must have got something. Whatever you're here for, you must have got something out tonight. But be honest, yeah? Right, Will, do you want to start?
I'd love to. Yeah, I'm Will, and the best thing I've had tonight is your appalling spelling.
That'll be my fault, I'll take the one for that.
No, to be fair though, it did make me think of something. It says instead of solution, it says solution.
Come in, Dean.
It comes from near Birmingham, so it's solution.
No, it did make me think of something, because for the solution to work, you've got to do it yourself.
Yeah.
You need help from other people. Come on. They can't do it for you.
Exactly.
You've got to do it yourself. So in effect, it is a solution.
Yeah, I like that one. I might need that.
Anyway, yeah.
I did it on purpose, Will.
Thank you, Will. Right. Sharon.
Yeah, I'm Sharon. No, I feel okay. Little bit deep, but I think we have to go there, don't we? To know where we are ending up, type of thing. But no, still found it really good. It makes you think about when you first came and things like that, and how far you've come. And I'd just say, it's like, if you want your head free from just thinking about whatever addiction you've got, then this kind of place is the place. Because when you're in active addiction, it just takes over everything else. Whereas you start coming and getting better and looking at other people that are better and what they've got to do, that kind of gives you that, yes, that is what I want. So for anybody, yes, that's out there that's thinking, shall I, shan't I? What's the alternative? You know,
What have you got to lose?
What have you got to lose? So come, give it a try. You will make to feel very, very welcome. It really is worth it. So.
Hi, Sharon. So,
It's made me think tonight about addictive behaviour. Was we born with it? Is it a mental health thing? I believe it's a mental health thing, but it's which I haven't done before. So it's really been useful in making you understand a little more about addictive behaviour. Yeah, that's it.
so Stu, Scott.
I think for me, coming to a place like this, it's making me more open, giving me confidence, which in my life I've never had. When I was younger, I just used to shy away. Things happened to me when I was younger, but just having a chance to move on and do different things, it's a blessing.
Thanks, Scott.
Yeah, Richard. I think for me, learning that it's a disease. I mean, first time here tonight, yeah, it's kind of shocked me a bit, you know what I mean? So, yeah, I'm open to all this, so I'll give it a go.
Nice one, Richie.
Yeah, I'm Bridget, and I was at a friend's house here in complex post-traumatic stress. Coming to kickback has altered things for me because I felt very isolated. I didn't feel able to talk about what my problems were, and the doctors didn't know where to send me either. And because I've been accepted here, it's like a different family, really, that you know that you can share things without it going anywhere else, and you can get it off your chest. You can get good teaching on how to conduct your life for a better purpose, better direction. So thank you.
Thank you,
Thanks,
Bridget.
Bridget.
Danny boy.
Yeah, brilliant. I love it, mate. It's like, it's real, you know, and that's so important. You know what I mean? I love your brother Stephen, you know what I mean? And I love how it just fires you up and you speak from the heart. And that's just your place to do this. Do you know, instead of you shutting them up, mate, you let them speak and you let them get it out. And that's important. It's important, you know what I mean? So, yeah, I love it. It's real. It keeps me real. You know, and sometimes you didn't want it, you think, oh, I don't want to hear about that, but I need to hear about that, because if I didn't, you know, it's like my head will tell me that I'm cured, man. And I'm not cured. I mean, I'm on the road, and I'm a little bit further than I was yesterday, but I'm not cured, you know what I mean? But I'm glad to be there.
Good stuff. Thank you.
Yeah, Brendan, alcoholic. Yeah, if people out there who are wanting to come to rehab, you can always have a one-to-one with Nick and Sally as well. Get in touch with them. They will guide you the best places to can go. And it's the best thing you'll ever do. Trust me.
Thanks, Brendan.
Daryl, recovering alcoholic. I enjoyed meeting, like everybody else says, if you're out here and you're not fence, take lead, get in touch with Mick or Sally and see what they can do for you, but I guarantee you it'll help.
Yeah. Thank you, Daryl. Stephen?
Stephen, really enjoyed it today. I like talking about addiction and hearing other people's views that I respect and stuff, and that's why I come here for, really, to be around people that I see as my kind. Yeah. I'm going to try and do something towards manic depressive, and it's starting to come together for me how I'm going to do it now. And I just had a feeling that you're searching and I weren't. If it weren't for kickback, I wouldn't know which way I want to go. But yeah, it's great play, great people. Great people, not trying to be anybody than they're not. Just trying to support each other. We can't buy that.
Go on, Stephen. Lovely.
Thanks,
Thank
Stephen.
you. John?
Yeah, I'm John. Got PTSD and depression. I started out with my dinner watching live, learning a lot. It's really good actually. And I was sat there thinking, should I just sit here and watch it live? No, it's my getting down now. I'm going to come down and sit with the gang and be a part of this fantastic community. So.
Brilliant. So we have our volunteer Neve. Do you want to say hello?
Yeah, sorry I'm late. Nice to see everyone. Thank you.
Sally, do you want to say anything?
Yeah, no, it's been great. It's been just a great reminder about maintenance and enrichment and everything. And then quite a few comments from home, you know, lots of well done to Darryl and lots of love being sent to Stephen. Neil Chamberlain, you've done it again. It's brilliant. Thank you all. Kathleen Best, wonderful group of folks. Gilly, nice one. Sharon, Leithwaite's, give all yourselves a pat on the back. So lots of positive comments from home as well.
Yeah. So, yeah, it's next teaching around education is tomorrow at 2 p.m. That's UK time. If you want to jump on somewhere, I don't know what topic we're going to do, but tonight, this afternoon, what we're going to talk about tonight, what topic we're going to choose, and we've got so many, and some are taught better than others, and some of your favourites and some are not. And I think this addiction one, because I think this is where we need, because we just started going live from last week, I think this addiction one is like, it opens a minefield, you know, and it's just quite scary to look at, and I think, you know what, just do it, just get it out of you thinking, but how am I going to put this into words? And because there's other stuff I can talk about or teach on, which I'll smash it. But this one we're a bit like, this is a bit, but you know what, he's done now. So over months to come, we'll come back to this and do it again. And what I'm suggesting, guys, do some research. You know, when you get on your computers, put disease of addiction in, there's loads on, you can press one, it'll tell you little bits more, you go into that. But do some research yourself, look into it, expand, have a look at all about the disease of addiction, how it works, how it is a disease of the brain, how it alters the structure, the function of the brain. Remember, for most people, nearly all people, we never were born an addict, you know what I mean? We had a choice, we were a bad choice, we picked a drink up, we picked a drug up, it changed the way we feel, we kept putting it in us, it altered the way our brain works, and we just couldn't stop, we just couldn't put it down from then on. So if people out there are thinking, are using any, whatever class age drugs, well, you know, at final, is it Sunday final, we're thinking, oh, I might try and make it, just think twice about what you're doing. So 35 years ago, I was a guy who thought I might try that. It was Evo stick, it was glue then, times when I was 12. I'll try some of that with Pond Street Skinheads, Castle Market and all that. Give me some of that Evo stick. Whoa, what a buzz. And it took me to some, not that was like a pathway, a gateway into all other drugs. So just think about what you're doing. Be aware, be mindful. You know what I mean? See you all soon, tomorrow at 2 p.m. Thank you.